The way you're explaining it to me, you're making it seem like it was an accident.
No, it wasn't.
So was it an accident or not?
I just don't know what she wants. Like, she's spreading her legs at me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like, she's spreading her whole at me, like at least 4 or 5 times.
What is wrong with you? All right. So this is a life case.
Hello everyone, today we will be delving into a situation that is both painful and disturbing. This isn't your typical courtroom drama. It's about a parent who did something so unimaginable that it's difficult to comprehend. Judge Boyd doesn't mince words, and really, he ought not to. He uses the harshest language possible to call out this individual, emphasizing how abhorrent their behavior is. The entire courtroom, as well as everybody else in the room, is left wondering, how could a parent betray their own child in such a way?
I have parties announced for the record for the state.
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Defense.
Jason Goss for Mr. Villamel.
And are you Mr. Villamel?
Yes.
Are you going to have to speak up so I can hear?
Yes.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Villamel, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are proceeding on count 3 and waiving counts 1 and 2.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated sexual assault of a child? That's a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years in prison and life and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your
No.
Counsel, has your client had a chance to confer with an immigration attorney?
Honor. I have conferred with an immigration attorney. I have informed him that a plea to this is, he's actually a permanent resident. A plea to this would be a certain denial of future permanent residency and deportation after serving a prison sentence, which is what he's pleading to.
All right. Mr. Vial, did your counsel advise you of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law?
What was that again? Sorry.
I said, did your attorney advise you of the consequences of entering a plea in this cause number, either no contest or
Yes.
guilty, and how that applies to federal immigration law?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did that advice include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from the United States, or the denial of naturalization?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the consequences of that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial? Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Sure.
According to the plea, you're pleading on count 3. Punishment is to be assessed at 15 years in the prison. There are no applications. There's to be no contact with the complainants, and there's Chapter 62 compliance. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Here's my question, because I see that affirmative finding of family violence has been crossed through. Is this
Exactly.
complainant his relative or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes.
Showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
I know we offer State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Okay.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed the same The court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you.
One of the most disturbing cases I've ever covered is this one. It's really crazy. And this man, instead of standing trial for his freedom, he is sitting there at the DMV as if he is waiting for his number to be called. There was no passion or sense of urgency, just a blank stare and halting one-word responses. Even saying "Your Honor" is too much for him. The disrespect, out of the charts. Just the absolute minimum, no effort, no regret. Judge Boyd, however, was not duped at all. Without hesitation, she dropped the guilty verdict after seeing through the act. The true question now is, will she grant his request, or will she be delivering something even worse? Because he might have just committed the worst error of his life if he believed he had control over his destiny. Let's investigate.
What he has pled to is a single count of a single time of sexual assault of a child, which is aggravated sexual assault of a child. He has agreed to do this early on in his process. He is not contesting his guilt, and he is not contesting what's going on. He's agreed to go to prison, and 15 years is a substantial amount of time.
State, why should I accept this verdict?
Your Honor, the child is very young. She's in therapy right now. I discussed it with the mother, and this is, there is a desire to get closure early on in this case, Your Honor.
So,
At this point, we haven't had to
penetration, but from reading this,
He didn't say that. I said it because
Okay.
I was just talking about the legal issues
Yeah.
with that. So
but I mean, having a child having her brother lick his,
that was something that I think was determined that did not happen.
well, she says that he asked her to lick his.
That's a different one. Yes.
What is wrong with you?
Well, Your Honor, I'm not trying to like beat around the bush. She was showing me her crotch, and that's.
And you got turned on.
No, I didn't. I'm telling you, I'm not like physically like. Well, I did get turned on, but not. Well, after a while, she just kept doing that. Tell her not. You know what I mean? Like,
You blaming a 6-year-old?
I'm not blaming my 6-year-old.
My client was sexually abused when he was a child. Better almost certainly be deported. He'll never live. He's been in this country since he was 2 years old. He will never live in this country again legally, and he will.
So he's being released after he does his time, released to go somewhere else and deal with his trauma that may result in him in some other child.
Well, he has what he is hoping to do is, as you know, the TDCJ system offers a pretty comprehensive sex offender counseling and treatment. And of course, you know, he will at some point be wanting to go on parole. He knows that he's going to have to complete that to do that. We have talked about it, explained it. He's going to take the opportunity to do that, as well as other programs that are offered in TDCJ. He is motivated to do that. And you know, at some point when he is released, as I said, he's going to go to a country that he has basically never lived in his entire life.
What country would that be?
Mexico.
They have nice beaches.
To be honest, I usually appreciate Judge Boyd, but this time, she was spot on. If this man must leave the country, so what? A child was violated by him. There is neither defense nor excuse. He must now deal with the repercussions of his decision. Let's face it though, 15 years. Compared to what he deserves, that is insignificant. He would face much more if I were the judge. He took away a 6-year-old's sense of security, which is irreparable. I believe that criminals such as them should never be allowed to live again. These crimes require a much more serious response from us. Justice ought to take into account the fact that the harm they inflict is permanent. This is not something that should be ignored. After ruining someone else's future, people like these don't deserve another shot.
Try not to hurt her.
Wait, are you saying that you were molesting her, and as you were molesting her, you were molesting her in such a way because you didn't want her to hurt her?
No, I asked her, you can put this in your mouth. That's it. And she said no. I said, that's fine. Okay, that's it.
No, this is a penetration.
Your Honor, if what he has pled to is, and what he confessed to is by penetrating the anus with his finger.
Mm-hmm.
And he had told the police when they asked him that he told the police that he did that at the time, which is another thing. He was honest with the police. He told them what he did. And at this point, we're asking for this because we have agreed early on not to leave this on a docket, not to go through the process, not to have his daughter have to come in and, as the prosecutor said, be traumatized by this, and he's going to lose his freedom for up to 15 years and for a minimum of 7.5. But as the court knows, parole doesn't happen like that for these cases. They're doing 75, 85% of their time. And so he's lost his freedom for more than a decade. He has done a horrible thing, and there's nothing that he can say right now that can explain that. I think the court's questions of him, how he has confessed to you now that he has done it. And
No, he pled no contest.
He pled no contest because I advised it because there's a civil case going on, but that's a legal advice that he was getting from his lawyer.
I understand, but he pled no contest. So again, we're back to what were you thinking? Because I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from to figure out whether I should follow this plea or not.
Sorry, Your Honor, I didn't do it. I didn't do it to like hurt my daughter. I tried. I'm begging and telling you, please. I'm telling you, please. I'm not trying to.
The way you're explaining it to me, you're making it seem like it was an accident.
No, it wasn't
So was it an accident or not? Because you're telling me you just grabbed her and you're making it seem like your finger just accidentally penetrated that.
thing is, I just don't know what she wants. Like, she's spreading her legs at me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like, she's spreading her whole at me, like at least 4 or 5 times, dropping her pants. Like, literally, like, it's not like I'm telling you like my actions were right.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out where you are mentally. And yes.
So if I grab my daughter's and I throw her on the bed and I didn't like forcefully sleep.
We all understand exactly what this man is attempting to do. He is sitting there pretending that he is not at fault, even though it is very clear that he is. No argument, no question. However, this is unsettling and goes beyond simple denial. Is he blaming his own child for his crime? That is insane on a whole other level, and that he's even attempting to portray himself as the victim. It's disgusting. He may believe that we will fall for his charade, but we are able to see through it. No rationale or excuse exists. He deserves life because of what he did, which cannot be forgiven. No second chances. There is no avoiding it. He needs to confront the full force of justice now.
At the time, he told police officers that he had put his finger inside of her.
So it wasn't accidental. Am I right in assuming that?
He did not tell the police officers it was accidental. I don't think that he's trying to communicate that to the court. All of those things that we have for people who are charged and people who are convicted of this, all of those things we're doing here. He's going to the penitentiary. He's going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of his life. All of those things are what's happening in this situation for people who have this apparent or this abhorrent behavior. He's obviously injured this child, and he understands that. He's signing for 15 years to go to prison because of what he's done.
All right. So this is a life case, honestly. So State, you want to explain to me why the court should follow this 15 years?
Your Honor, this was done, having been in this position, I have seen these cases that languish for 4, 5, 6 years. And I had discussion with the mother, and the benefit of the child was to get this done, have no right to appeal, so the child could move on.
If you all want to reconfer on that, you can.
Okay.
All right.
Your Honor, 2 things. I'm set in jury trial in County Court 13. They're starting to pick the jury now.
Oh, tell them you're in felony court. I'll call County Court 13.
It's Judge Skinner. It's County Court 13 impact.
I'll call them. So if you all want to confer and see if he's willing to accept 20 years.
I can't talk to my client about something like this in the matter of a few minutes. I mean, this is something that we just asked for a reset. If that's what the court is asking us to do, it puts too much pressure on the attorney-client relationship for me to talk to him in the box about a complete reworking of this plea bargain. I spent hours with him in the jail, going over discovery, doing all this stuff, and this is. I'm asking for a new setting.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, recall this for tomorrow. Okay.
On this case,
Mhm.
Judge, the last we were here, the court declined to follow the plea,
Mhm.
offered the client 20 years.
Mhm.
We are respectfully, we have given the court reporter payment for the record, and we are going to respectfully file a motion to disqualify the court in this proceeding.
Okay.
So
So is your client not accepting the 20 years?
my client is not accepting the 20 years as it's been offered by the court.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you put this on the jury trial docket, please?
Your Honor, I've been informed that it will take 4 days for the record, including this one. And so,
Well, whatever date, the first date of jury trial, that's the date of jury trial.
understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
First jury trial available for this case.
We wanted to respectfully inform the court that if our intent is to file a motion to disqualify the court from this proceeding, and that at this time, the court's offer of 20 years to the client is rejecting because we are waiting for that motion. We have tendered a check to the court reporter in order to get the record. And then once that record is received, we'll file the motion and go along that process.
All right. Well, your plea deadline date has expired, so the court will not accept any plea bargain agreements in this case. Your jury trial is set for August 8th.
Don't worry, I wouldn't abandon you. However, don't be upset with me since the twist is about to happen. A separate judge ultimately heard this case. Yes, the lawyers successfully filed a motion to remove the original judge. The state's 15-year plea agreement was accepted by a new judge. And truthfully, it's a difficult pill to take. I firmly believe that this man deserved life because this scenario was very horrifying. For something this nasty, 15 years simply doesn't seem like enough time. However, the legal system doesn't always strike as hard as it ought to. I'd like to hear from you now. Do you believe that 15 years was a fair sentence, or should he have received much more? I always enjoy reading what you guys have to say, so please share your ideas in the comments section. Additionally, please remember to like and subscribe for future updates if you like this video. Keep checking back because I post every day, and I promise you won't want to miss what comes next. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I'll see you at the next one, and be careful.